As somebody who has spent over 5 years of her life studying and practicing study techniques based on what I have read, videos that I've watched, articles that I've read as well, I can tell you that not all of them work. I don't want you to be like me 3 years ago where I was having piles of paper all in the name of me creating and reading flashcards. Step one, and it is to gather all your study materials even before the semester starts. Why? This is going to reduce your time spent looking for past questions or materials while you're supposed to be doing something else. 2 weeks before the semester, gather those past questions, their old notes, get your textbooks. You can get this recommended textbook either through your mentors or students that are ahead of you. Imagine you know everything the teacher is going to teach even before the semester starts. It sounds funny, but it's real. It's possible. Start studying past questions before any other thing. This is because when you are studying past questions, you actually know the area of concentration. Study past questions for like the last 3 years. That's the year before that, and the year before that. First of all, mark the topics or mark the questions that appear most. And then when you are done marking the questions that appear most, you now, from the questions that appear most, you mark the topics that appear most. More often than not, these are the topics that are the most important topics in such courses. And that's why teachers or lecturers like giving questions in these topics, because they are actually the most important in the courses. While you are going at the course of the semester, you only be clearing, you know where the focus is, and you know that you get the focus before you even go through any other studying, any other thing. When I found out this method, it was so mind-blowing for me. In fact, 90% of everything that came out were repeated from past questions, and even the things that were not repeated from past questions were from the topics that those past questions were repeated from. This method of studying particularly works very well in bulky courses like biology, agriculture, history. Another good thing about this is when you start studying at the beginning of the semester, chances are you are just reading through the words. This method helps you to be more active in the study, because when you are reading past questions, most of those things you don't know them. So when you are reading them and marking, it forces you to be actively involved in the study. So we've tackled what to do before and immediately you start studying. But imagine you start studying and you get demotivated, because sometimes discipline is not enough and motivation is not enough. There are two kinds of people. The people who are able to form habits easily. These people can easily plan out things and schedule out things, and it works out well for them. They are typically what I call the blue brain people. And the second type of people are people who schedules and planners and all those stuff, routines don't really work out well for them, because their days don't typically look the same. I'm going to explain how both of these people can achieve the same level of consistency despite how different their brain works. First off, blue brain people. They typically form habits easily, and their days usually look the same. Every day they usually wake up in the morning, they get ready for school, probably start school at 7 or 8, so they get ready for the school which starts at that 7 or 8. They come back home and continue with their end of the day routine. So for these people, it's easy to actually form a habit of studying, because you can decide to maybe wake up earlier, and then before you start getting ready to study, that's you have joined a new habit with an old habit together, and it's going to be easier for you to keep track of it, because this other habit is something you do every day because you have to do it. But what about the green brain people? Typically we don't have the same days, because some days you might be running around for errands, other days you'll be attending lectures, other days practicals. So how do you keep studying consistent? I fall under this kind of people. So if you also fall under this kind of people, this example will be more clear for you, because these are things that I have actually personally had issues with, and I've actually learned how to figure out, and I'm now I don't have problem with it anymore. The chances of you studying depend on two things: your energy level and your willpower. Energy level is how tired you are, how energized you are, did you sleep enough, did you eat enough, that kind of thing. And then the second one is the willpower. This is actually the ability, you really want to do this. This is the chances that you actually want to do this. So your chances of studying depend on both of these things. When you have high energy level and high willpower, chances are you study very consistent. Let's imagine days like exam times. I usually have high energy and high willpower during exam times, because During exam times, I basically don't do any other thing. I don't run errands. All my focus on during exam time is usually exam. So my energy is typically high because I don't do a lot of activities, and my willpower is also high because of the fear of failure of the exam. The chances of me studying are very high, and that explains why I'm able to study every single day. What if your energy level is high, but your willpower is low? Sometimes days are like that. You don't have anything to do, your whole day is free, but studying just seems boring. You look for study techniques that are actually more engaging and more fun. Flashcards are good, but I would not recommend you using flashcards for a study technique, because flashcards typically, realistically, to create and to keep up with them, maintain them, that's to read them and to keep them organized, is very difficult, because making them, for you to be creating those flashcards, writing every flashcard front and back, it's tiring, time consuming, and you could be doing something better with your life rather than doing that. Instead of flashcards, I would recommend you use the Q&A method. Actually, I don't want to talk about that much in this video because it will just make the video long for no reason. So check this video out after this video in order for you to understand more about the Q&A method, so you know how to use it and to use it in place of flashcards method. Another thing you can do are mind maps. Mind maps actually work, but don't just use them anyhow. This kind of mind maps don't work. This kind of mind maps work. What's the difference? The visuals. What if your energy is low and your willpower is low? This is where the people in your life will really be helpful. Sometimes when I'm doing till daybreak with my classmates, my friend, what we do together is, when we are studying, there's a point that we reach that our energy becomes low and our willpower is also low. What we do is, he sleeps for like 30 minutes to an hour or even more, and he tells me I wake him up at so and so time, and I wake him up, and then he continues studying. Another thing to do with this method is, don't do this method and stay in your house. If in fact anytime that your willpower is low, you will not stay in your house, chances are you are going to tempt yourself into doing something else, like sleeping, eating, cooking, whatever. So we've covered what to do before the semester even starts, what to do before you even start reading, what to do when you are reading and you lose motivation or you are not being consistent. Now, what do you do when you lose focus and you start getting distracted while you are studying? You can check this video out here. See you there.